Hello everyone, my name is Matt Murray. I'm the Emergency Management Coordinator for the City of Brookhaven, and as part of our Emergency Ready Kit series, we're going to talk about the type of food that you should consider for when you're putting together your Emergency Ready Kit. How much food should you have? 3 days worth. In the event of a disaster, that'll help get you over the needed time that until systems get put in place so that if there was a long-term disaster, that you can be fed and provided water. How much calories should you have? You should have about 2,500 calories for an adult, but it varies from person to person. Some adults eat more than others. Some eat less. Kids eat less than adults. But for the purposes of today's video, we're going to be working around that 2,500 calorie benchmark. So it's 2,500 calories a day, which would be 7,500 calories for the 3-day period. And when you're getting your food, make sure you consider any dietary restrictions. Some people are allergic to things. Make sure that when you're purchasing any of the survival foods or any food in general, that when you're putting together your kit, you take into account any dietary restrictions that you or your family might have. So the first type of food we're going to talk about are these freeze-dried camping meals. These are really good because they can be made inside of the bag itself. They're very lightweight and they last for 25 years. But it takes a good number of pouches to reach the 2,500 calorie a day requirement for the 3-day emergency ready kit. And you got to make sure that you've got plenty of water to go with it because you're going to have to boil water to cook these. But as I said, these cook directly into the pouch and they're very, very shelf stable. So the next type of food we're going to talk about are the good old-fashioned military meals ready to eat. These are really good because they have everything in one pouch in that they've got their heater, they've got an entree, they've got condiments, and everything that you're going to need for a meal is in one of these. Each one of these is on average 1,200 calories, so you can eat 2 of these today to meet the 2,500 calorie requirement. But they're only good for about a 5-year period, and it can be a bit heavy, and as you can see, you're going to have a good space to store these in your emergency ready kit. The final thing we're going to talk about is going to be canned food. Canned food is the least expensive of the 3 items that we talked about today, and you can get it over time. But canned food, even though it could be eaten out of the can, you still need to have a way to heat it. And if you're going to have canned food, you need to make sure that you've got some way to open it. So make sure you've got a can opener in your kit. But canned food does have a tendency to be a bit heavy, and depending on how many people you're feeding, you may need lots of cans or a large number of cans and ways to cook it. When you go online, you'll see many things like these survival bars, which these survival bars are good. There's 3,600 calories in this one pouch, and it says it's for 3 days, but it's obviously not enough for the 3-day ready kit that we need. And these have a tendency to be very dry because they're a very hard-packed wafer. If you were to go this route, I would suggest having something like peanut butter or something to put on it. These things are very dry, but they will suffice for calories if you need them. And when you're purchasing food, make sure you're looking at what you're getting. So this bag says that it is a 72-hour food kit, but as you can see, these pouches are fairly large. And you would need pots and pans to cook this, so this would be fine if you're going to be at home. But if you needed to travel somewhere, it'll be very difficult to work with. So 2 of the 3 types of foods that we discussed today require you to have some kind of way to heat it. Pick what's best for your family. If you decide to go with a combustion stove that you have to burn something to cook it with, you do not want to be doing this inside. This will need to be done outside. And make sure that it is able to boil enough water for the camping meals, or it produces enough heat to heat your canned foods so that it sterilizes the food inside of the can as well. Also, when you're doing something like the camping meals, make sure you've got a good measuring cup. These silicone measuring cups are great to have. They're super lightweight and easy to keep in your kit. Or you could do something like a compressed gas system, which everything's built in. These still need to be used outside, but they're a good, quick, safe way to boil water. And finally, you've prepared your food. You need to have some way to eat it. You can get mess kits off the line. You can go to Walmart and get some really inexpensive ones. You have ones like this is enough for 2 people. It fits into the small bag. But make sure that you've got a way to eat. You've got a nice way that you can eat out of the bag if you need to. You've got somewhere to store water if you need it. But with all of this stuff, as well as with any of the cooking stuff that you need, also include somewhere and something to wash it with, because you cannot reuse a pot over and over without cleaning it, or someone could become sick. So I hope this was helpful for you today, and I hope this helps you be able to make a better informed decision on what type of food you want to add from your emergency ready kit. We'll see you on the next video. Thank you very much, and have a great Brookhaven day.